Diary.
You just went somewhere.
This ain't a comeback. I've been running from it. I've been running from it because of where it was going. And now I'm not going to run from it no more. I've decided that this thing that I've been running from the start just might be my destiny.
It's great to explore.
And I heard it in a song one day and I was like, that makes so much sense. So you know what? I'm going to just turn back around and go after it. So of course when I walked in, everybody's like, oh, why is he here? End of the day, I produced the picture. He's like,
oh, that's why.
Hey, you want to send me some? Here's my WhatsApp. Could you like WhatsApp me? Here's my email. I'm just like, okay, yeah. Just come. It's like I always had to remind him what it was. And you see, I'm not a cocky person. I'm not one. I was never confident. Never. Now I am. That's what's going to be different this time. Is I found the confidence in myself. Because you don't have to like me. I love me. That works for me.
That will definitely work. It works for me as well. So, I mean, people won't like what I will say, but it cuts through the bullshit and it's effective. It works in real situations.
And that's what I want. I want effective shit. I like to tell people, I don't want bullshit. You know? Don't try to sell me bullshit. Just be straight with me. And I don't buy it. You can tell me, yo, my car got this leak here, you got that problem. Well, look, you selling it for $3,000. This is Alcazar. This is what I want. I can fix the problems eventually. I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Just tell me that it has problems. Don't sell me, oh, it's good, and I drive and I'll figure out the problems. Because if you tell me that problems, I'll figure the problems out before I put it on the road.
And it's much time saving. I mean, if people are like straight to the point.
But some people are afraid that if they got problems, they're not going to buy it.
And then
so
they're circling, and then time got wasted, or even money got wasted.
And I thought about this too, and I realized why a lot of people would hate me more than normal. At the end of the day, I keep hearing people say, oh, I do my own thing, it's my own thing. And I'm like, really, it's your own thing, but you dress in the same way like everybody else. You go into the same places like everybody else. You all hype about the same music, you all go to the same events.
Are the same.
Everything is the same, but you're all doing your own thing that makes no sense. But when you look at me, I'm way outside the box, sitting down doing my own thing. This is who I am. I ain't pretending.
And the thing is, even though you're outside the box, you could also play inside the box.
I can play inside the box.
So.
But day or night, this is what people are going to see now. Because at the end of the day, nobody deserves to see my face, and that's how I treat it. And if somebody asks, my answer is, I got a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. You don't need to see it. And that's what this is. You don't need to see that. Because once you see somebody's eyes, you can read them.
No, I mean,
you can read everything on somebody's face by their eyes. And
that's why this is really, when the first podcast that we did, I was looking at my eyes, oh man. I could see the curiosity in the way we discussed, and it's like, oh no, if you're somebody looking into this is recording. If you're an outsider looking to what we're discussing, and they're gonna see my eyes, it will gonna be like tip them away to what we're discussing. That's why I'm wearing this. It's like
if you watch poker games, a lot of poker players don't do it, but there's a few of them that will wear shades, and those ones they usually take their cards and they look at it and they put it down because you don't want to pick them up so they can go flat. So there's a lot of you put it down, and those people, to me, they never look at the cards again. To me, that makes the best poker player, and that's what I've been trying to teach myself to do is remember each card that I get. Because if I can look and say I got a king of diamonds and an ace of spades, and I got king ace, king of diamonds, ace of spades. I can watch the block
that's the thing.
and watch everybody play, and I know what I have when I'm picking up my cards again. So it scares everybody, number one, because he's like, oh, what's he doing? He's looking at his cards, how he knows what he's playing. It makes everybody hop and bluff, and it's fun.
That's poker face. Poker face, that's why there's such a word, right?
Yeah. Poker face is the face that you can't read.
Oh, man.
And misdirection is my favorite thing. So, rumors, I encourage rumors.
Seriously?
About myself? Oh yeah. I encourage speculation.
Okay. About yourself.
About me? No, I encourage anybody to talk anything that they want about me because at the end of the day, I live my life, not you. I know exactly what it is I am doing or not doing. So you can talk, hey, I saw him do that, or he's doing this, or he's doing... Whatever you all want to say is fine. Because it teaches me things about myself I didn't know I could do. Sometimes I hear shit and be like, I could do that.
Yeah,
I didn't know I could do that.
How do I frame that?
You know what I mean?
On my end, I only make sure, that's one, I know what I I am, and there's a few people who really, really know how I think. Well, technically, when I talk to people, I explain and like the way I'm acting, they will know how I think. But some people won't get it. That's why I make sure these few people who get it, gets it. Like here in the company, the management, they understand me the way I think. So that's, as long as they understand me, all the bullshit will be like swept away. If people will like react in the way I perform. It's like it's impossible to make people agree with you.
Definitely.
A lot.
Oh
man, that's a hell of a problem. It's impossible. So it's like focus on the things that we can control. It's a stoic thing, stoic philosophy, and that's it. And the things that we can control is our values, our virtues, the great things that we can do, our emotions. We could control ourselves to become more productive parts of society.
That's where I'm at now. Controlling these emotions, controlling everything. Because if I'm going to go back, I'm not making a comeback, but I'm going back into something that I ran away from. If I'm going back into it, I gotta be stronger up here more than anywhere else in my body. Don't care about the physical, my mental has to be the strongest. Because the last time I got in it, my mental and my emotions took me all over the place. And every time I was up, I was down. People were
It's hard to decide.
People were using me, parked inside. It just got to a point where the best thing for me to do was walk away.
Confusing.
And every time I walk, I gave it up in 2012. I bounced around with it in 2018. I gave this camera away. This same camera, I gave it the fuck away in 2018. At the end of 2019, it's in my hand.
Cayman.
And I'm like, interesting.
Yeah.
In 2020, it's up and down. Shit went fine, depression, everything, COVID. This girl wouldn't stop on me till I did her birthday shoot, and I did it. Even then, I didn't want to get back into it. It wasn't until recently, 2021, I just looked at it and said, you know what? I've been running from this one thing that keeps calling my name. I've been running from this one thing that people fear me in. I've been running to do other things that people keep knocking me down in. Here's the one thing you can't knock me down in. Because when I was there, you couldn't. So you know what? I'm going back there, and you're not going to knock me down. If you get my way, I'm going to knock you down. And you don't have to let me.
Yeah.
And bring him back, sir, one more time. And I just said, it's not a
I
combat.
saw the pictures. I mean, cuts across. I mean, that would be impossible to like knock down. It's a wall. I mean.
Yeah. And then when the guy was telling me, he's like, your picture's going to be like this. We're going to have problems with our other guy. And he laughed. And I said, yeah, maybe. But just so you know, when I come out here, I'm going to always give you my best and push it. Because that's just me. I ain't not doing it for nobody but me. When I give a best, the best, it's not because you want to see the best, it's because I want to see the best.
You see it. You have the.
And I'm going to catch that picture when I see the best. You love it. But just know I had to do that for me to see that I can do the best. I know I'm going to push the best.
That's pretty unique in people. I mean, there are some areas like you say photography, or let's say like architects see things differently, and they could focus on those things, and they know that is the best way to look at the things or create things. That's crazy, man. I mean, me, I could like do it in like ideas. I know that this idea will work on this problem or in this situation, but it's like murky for most. Yeah, that's why there's scalable value or there's productive value in like being the best at something.
You see something? No, this is the funny how I became the best at this, because I never, ever wanted to be a photographer. Never. I bought a camera when I was 15 or 16, and I messed around with this little small tiny digital camera up until I bought a different digital camera. Ivan happened. I bought a bigger camera, and when I bought this bigger camera now, all the times I had cameras was take pictures of planes, and that's all I was doing. When I got this bigger camera now, these two girls saw it, they thought it was a professional camera, they asked me if I take pictures of them, and I did. Another girl, a friend that there saw it, and then pictures of her. And then it just kept going. And it just never stopped.
Snowball.
Because it's
like it became bigger.
They said, yo, you good. And I'm good at what? I just take pictures. So I stopped taking pictures of planes, started taking pictures of people, and that started in 2005 all the way to 2012.
Seriously? That's a long run.
And then I stopped. I stopped because a lot of people were getting in the game. I had too many friends. I had too much noise. I had too much noise. I couldn't see the bigger picture. I couldn't see where I was going no more. I was so lost and confused, so I pulled out of it. And I had to go through from 2012 to now to go like, eh. And it's so funny, when I was a kid, my mother used to teach me this game with cards called 12, 21. You either get 12 or 21 to win. And I laugh. Because I quit in 2012 and I started by 21.
That's fascinating.
So I was like, it's my 12, 21. Either way I win.
Oh man, noise. This is so. It's. Where did I get that concept? But it's like. If you don't have this frame of thinking, like logical thinking, rational thinking, philosophy, religion sometimes could help, but without those things, like ideas that could like be an overarching cover to what you're doing as a whole in life, not only with professional practice, with family. This, for me, the best way to see things, it's like, does everything fit?
Yeah.
And then if you have that, it will be easier to find the signal instead of the noises. Everything will be noise in a way, except for those things that lay better foundations for the aspects of life you want to build.
Everybody needs to step outside the crowd. And I think they say overthinking is bad. It is.
It is, yeah.
To some extent. But to me, overthinking has been my skill since I was a little boy because I had to think about everything. So it's like I mastered it to me. So I suggest people sit down. Like I keep telling people, think. It's not illegal yet. It is not illegal to sit down and think. If somebody tells you or gives you an opinion or makes a suggestion, it is not illegal for you to sit down for 2 minutes and think about it first.
Would you believe there are some countries who made thinking illegal, and a lot of bodies just.
It's going to get to that point because but people like me thinking outside the box and coming up with theories and seeing things differently. Oh, we gotta make this illegal. We can't allow people to think. They don't want you to think for yourself. They want you to think for them. They want you to think like them. They're trying to train you. This is what they push certain music out. Certain things they keep pushing out, and the crowd keeps running and fighting and fighting for it. I know.
See, at the time of the kings, they don't like people like us. They will hang us. They will cut our heads.
They would hang us like Jesus Christ because we would have been, I wouldn't say we would have been Jesus Christ because we couldn't perform miracles and we couldn't do things, but we were outside thinkers too.
Yeah, it's like we could challenge the king.
Yeah.
That's how powerful thinking is. Ideas are really powerful. It cuts across. Ideas have people. People think they have the ideas. No, the ideas have people. Especially the bigger crowds. It controls them. They follow the ideas.
And because I know that the people have more power in government, and that's why I don't pay no attention to the politicians. I just don't. Like, if you want real change in life, stop voting. You're putting idiots in the chair with power. Stop doing that. If you don't vote a soul and you don't have a government, guess what? You have the power.
But that is scary in a way.
It is scary. Everyone would have power and everybody would feel secure and there would be no control. So there's a reason why they put government in the place. But it's just like
it's a weird dynamic that we have. It
always boils down to the one simple thing that I like to tell people. It boils down to one little thing. People.
But I have to agree on
just
people.
Boils down to that one word. People.
But
they have the choice.
The way I remember I've talked about Pareto principle. It takes like a few groups of, or a few clusters of great people to maneuver the population. Mm-hmm. And these great people is hard to find nowadays. Mm-hmm. Maybe this thing that we're doing is part of that.
You see, it's hard to find because great people are usually outcasts. If Bob Marley didn't continue to push his music and be himself, and he gave up based on people calling him an outcast, he's half white, he's this and that, Bob Marley would never made it. A lot of people that are great are the ones that have been bullied and stepped on. Because they're that great that they just find it respectful to be nice and be kind. But people find that as weakness and step on it and keep pushing them to kill themselves.
Dude, it's cowardice if you're too nice. You're like afraid to do something.
And I tell people, I thought that I'm afraid. Like, you come here to fight me, it's not that I'm afraid to fight you, because I will fight you till either you win or I win. It doesn't matter if I win or lose. We will fight. But if I had to make a choice, I'm just going to choose not to fight. It's just easy and simple, no frustration. Because if we fight, the police are going to come for the both of us, sir. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be in no jail.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah.
I just don't want to be in no jail. But if you're comfortable with going to a jail and you want to fight tonight, let's fight. But don't think for 1 second that I will not tear you apart. Because I opened the door for you and said good morning. It was nice. I lent you $100 and never looked for it. But don't think that's, oh, he's weak. Yeah, come see how weak I am when you're ready. Come, I'll show you how weak I am.
And then they're telling overthinking doesn't
Bust this
have a
coffee cup
value.
on the top of your head.
This is kind of like the way we frame things, like the way you have expanded on the idea of just fighting. It's kind of like, it's not actually overthinking, it's thinking critically. That's the better
critical thinking.
Critical
It's
thinking,
it's like, is it necessary?
Yeah.
Is it necessary to fight right now? No, it isn't. But what? You want to feel big and superior, and that's when you want to fight? You throw one like I throw one kick in your chest, you on the ground crying like a bitch, right? And that's that. I can do that. I choose not to.
Yeah.
But I'm at the stage now, I'm going to. Because before Marco, my good friend, died, before Marco died, I used to say can't. And he always used to say, you got to take can't out of your vocabulary. You should replace it with shouldn't. Because you can do anything you want to do. You probably shouldn't do it. And now that I have that theory, I've added one to it, and I told him that, and he's very upset. I said, when you say can't, shouldn't, but I'm going to. Yeah.
But the shouldn't is part of, I'm gonna go say more psychologically inclined now.
Yeah.
It's part of what one of the greatest psychology, mental psychology resources we have in history, Carl Jung. He's telling the greatest version of a man is somebody who knows that he is a monster and does not get consumed in it. Who can control himself. And then that would produce the most virtuous person.
And then they wonder why, no matter what I do, where I go, what I say, I stand outside and I stick out like a sore thumb. I keep telling people I'm a bigger blue monster on the inside. You don't want to imagine the stick in the evil thoughts that run through my head. It's in there. I just know it's better not to put it on paper.
Because it's hard for people to understand that logic. Because, see, what is easier for them to understand? People who, are good. It's like they're so good they couldn't do anything wrong. Or like they fear doing something wrong. They're acting out of fear. They're acting out of fear, which is different. When you're accepting that there's a part of you that could deal damage, hurt people, disentangle systems, and you accept that you won't do it. That's courage. Two different things. Doing something out of fear and doing something out of courage. I choose this. And but you have to think critically about that logic, right? Acceptance. You have to accept that part of you that is like good and evil. That's hard. That's fundamentally hard.
I grew up around a lot of evil. And it's weird because it comes from a lot of nice people. But there's a lot of evil, a lot of vindictiveness is how I like to say. It's almost like it's always somebody had to get back at you for doing something. It makes no sense. But you learn to, I learned not to let that bother me.
Good morning, Mr. Shed.
You make a choice. So I chose the nice side of it, because nobody in the house wanted to do it. And I always said, well, if everybody's going to be evil, somebody has to be nice. Someone would have to be nice. So I chose nice. So like I said,
that was a decision.
You got to remember this, it was a choice. It's still only a choice.
Yeah, the choice.
Because I turned the light on, doesn't mean I can't go back over there and flick that switch off. Just remember the choice. The choice can be either be up, down, do whatever.
Though
I just chose one.
I didn't have that.
The Hulk.
Okay.
What was the secret to the Hulk? He became the Hulk when he was Iron Roar.
Yeah.
And when he finally got iron, somebody asked him, so what does it take to get you angry and get you like that? You know his answer was? I'm always angry. That's the trick.
He's channeling it.
He could always be the Hulk when he's ready, is what he's saying. He's just choosing not to. It's all that meant. Just choosing not to. I don't need to be the Hulk right now. There's no need for me to be here. Oh, the whole world's falling apart. Okay, now it's time for me to be here. Boom. It's just a choice.
It's a choice, yeah.
That's the Hulk secret. I'm always angry every second of the day. I'm just choosing not to be that person.
Yeah, it's It's like
Yeah, it's a battle in here. Like, people don't understand. I don't. Oh, you do sleep at night. It's a battlefield up in here.
it's like on my end, the story why I got to this kind of psychological journey. Somebody screwed me in the islands. So it's like so I invested in a business there, and then it came to a point where I felt that I am being like, how do I put this? Like they're using me in a way. It's like I'm so skilled. I can communicate to foreign. We're doing a tourism travel thing, hostel business in the middle of nowhere. I have the funds. I could speak to foreign people, and these people coming in, I entertain them and everything, fine. But the thing is, when I saw, I'm an accountant, so, but what I saw with the numbers, they are technically the only people benefiting. And again, they are great people. They're tribes people, but I think they just didn't understand well how money could corrupt them in a way. It's the first time maybe they've been handed great things, and then it's difficult for them to parse which is right and wrong. But that got me to like, oh, there's something I did not understood. Oh, people could become this despite them trying to like see the objective of like living, like getting money for their families or like building something. They could step on people. Even me, who's like coming from the outside, helping them, they could still step on
your story sounds like my job story. It's the reason I talk a little bit. A lot of people were just using me. A lot of people were calling me friend because I knew all the women. You're my friend, let's go, we go drink together. Just to use me, to get to know me, just to get involved in that circle. So this time around that I'm back here, it's just me. I ain't doing this with nobody, I ain't sharing this moment with nobody. I'm not inviting a friend to come along, I don't need no makeup artist, I don't know. They'll have to provide all that for themselves if they want me to do that. And I was talking to this girl the other night that we're doing her shoot, and I told her she's allowed to bring a friend. And I prefer if you do bring a friend, because I ain't going to bring one. Don't trust people, so I'd rather you bring a friend. And I ain't bringing no woman. What are you going to work with?
Before people that would like,
everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to help.
Yeah, I want to hold your gear.
Yeah,
something.
Just weird. Something like, take care of myself.
People become funny when they think there's opportunity.
Oh yeah.
They
a lot
act
of people use the opportunity off me. So especially when I walk off the map, I didn't think this way. I paid the photography room and I let everybody walk it. No, on the map, you're right. Makes sense.
Hello. Morning. How much? Same thing?
Any cash too?
No.
For 3 zeros and I want to meet up.
Same things like that.
And we just being shorties too. Working.
Okay. Cool. So I even have a drone again. And you see, I lived like 8 months straight in the middle of the island, no electricity, but I was filming. Hell yeah! I mean, that experience in the islands could be the best and worst thing. It's like a paradox in a way. It's like it made me think higher of how human evil and greatness could be, which is bad and good in itself, a paradox in itself. But the creative side of mine is like the ability of me to think really deep thinking.
Yeah.
Because when you're there, it's like the ocean only. You could meditate, you could there's no interruption, so there's this ideas flowing in you, and you can like break it one by one, and then like watching the people there, the fishermen and everything. It's so basic. It would make all the things that we do here in kind of way absurd.
Yeah.
It's like the way we're like so accustomed to real life here in the Western world. It's so fascinating to compare it to the way they live.
There's probably a handful of people or so that actually live off the grid. You know?
And they survive every day. But then you put the whole world into off the grid.
That's
98% of the people that there will be a few, maybe like us, I won't say would. I mean, cussing screen for a while because we wouldn't know what to do.
but
Eventually we'll figure something out.
I'm one of those.
That's like the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks. Plane crashes, he ends up in his island for 4 years. And I kept thinking to myself, how much people do you think in life would really survive a plane crash, end up on a little island like that, and survive long enough to get back off? Not a lot of people. So it takes a different kind of person. Really does.
It's there are some observations on the people who have survived those kinds of ordeal. Most of them don't even have survival skills.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mindset, they say. It's more of if you're willing to live, you're gonna do whatever it takes. If you have that dynamic, you're gonna find water, find food.
A lot of people try to
make shelter.
Stop thinking, tell me what thinking is bad, but it's the thinking that would save me. Because if I was left on an island tomorrow with nothing, I have no skill. No carpentry skill, no hunting skill. But what I have is my
the
brain. I have that, and that thinks a lot. So that to me would always come up with a solution if I sit there and let it.
Yeah.
But I gotta give it the time because I know it's gonna pop the solution out the box.
Maybe some people have died in those ordeals, like let the fear or the stress or the anxiety loose instead of their brain functioning well.
Let the brain do its thing, because like I tell people, when I give you an answer, don't ask me if I tried this or I tried that and tried. Yes, I did. I ran through every scenario that was possible. I crossed out each one that couldn't work, or the ones that could kind of work versus ones that couldn't work, and I just kept working until I found one that made so much sense that this is the one that could work, and it's going to work. And if you watch Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, even if it was just a movie, everybody's wondering if he made it up before it happened or he made it up as he went along. And I'm like, no, that's critical thinking. That's what I am. That's what some people are, like a critical thinker. He made it up on the spot because he was able to look and say that would happen with that if I did that. This is that kind.
The thing
He
is,
can see that. The brain processes it so fast. You can't even explain it.
yeah, that's true.
You just know how to act it when the time comes.
The hard part of people questioning most of ideas is they're thinking inside it, off the box.
Yeah, and that's what the brain.
And they don't get it. That's why they
the
don't.
box.
But it's tough. It's a tough thing to do for normal people.
To me, I guess it's hard for me to understand because I'm not a normal person. Why it's so hard to come outside the box? Like if you're trying to,
I'm gonna tell you, it's really hard.
Think of the one outside the box. Think of the one you.
Go.
I used to always say this before I watched Pirates of the Caribbean. That's what made me so intrigued with the Jack Sparrow character. There is an impossibility and an improbability. Now, I believe anything is possible. I can run through this wall. It's not impossible because it's concrete. It can break.
Yeah.
I come with a hard enough and strong enough force.
Yeah.
I can do it. But what's the probability of me actually doing it is the question. Right? Possibility is always there. It's the probability. And there was a scene where after he survived the island, he ends up back in the cave, and Barbo's looking at him saying, impossible. And he says, no, it's not impossible, improbable. And I laughed because I said, see that? It's
Jack Sparrow got it right.
It's not impossible. It was never impossible. It was improbable. There's two differences. The possibility of me going through this wall is 100% guaranteed that I can. The probability of me going through it is 0.
I'm laughing, why? Because
and that's how I apply everything in life. I look at the impossible situation to say, is it possible that I can get through it? Yes, it is. But now, base it on probability.
Yeah.
What's it going to take?
Yeah. Those are two different questions. But the thing is, I'm laughing. Why I'm laughing? The normal person wouldn't, or it would break their brain just to like absorb those two concepts, which are both accurate, really accurate.
It is. Possibility and probability is the same thing in the sense. It's just one can happen and one won't happen.
It's like you just need to separate them on discussing. But it's like unlike solving a problem, make sure consider possibilities and then how probable. That's a great thing.
Yeah, that's what
Jack
I do.
Sparrow got it.
That's what I do. Even out there, when we just moving simple tiles and doing certain other things, my mind is always just looking at impossibilities and possibilities. Like, I can look in an object and say it fit in that space or not. Just by looking at it.
I think your photography skills.
It kind of shows it in a sense. I can look at this book and see that they can fit in that groove or not. And I can take and I can fit.
That's eagle eyes.
And it's this man next to was trying to do a tile, so trying to put it in that way. And I just looked at the tile, looked at the tile and said, it can almost fit, but it's not going to. And sure enough, when they did it, that much space. She couldn't go past that much space. And I was like, see, I can see that.
I'm gonna go to science then. The reason there's a lot in evolution that we don't know. Okay. But there was this study that was conducted for how venomous snakes are mapped and where significant human civilizations started. There is almost a 90% matching on it. Where I'm getting into this, human eyesight is probably the third most, is third highest, maybe second to hawks and eagles. That's how great our eyesight is. But what they're telling is, maybe we evolved to see venomous snakes in the bush. We have a wiring in us to recognize the pattern, the head of the venomous snakes. We see there, it's like almost the same in the pattern, right? That's why there's an innate built-in fear of us for snakes, and even fear of heights. Those are innate things.
I ain't afraid of heights, man.
Some people aren't.
But I realize the fear, and I guarantee a lot of people who say they're afraid of heights aren't afraid of heights. It's not the fear of heights, it's the fear of drop. It's not the fear of heights. Once you can acknowledge that you're not going to drop from that height, you can no longer be afraid. Because it's not really the fear of heights. Because my friend's father, he's a pilot, and he's afraid of heights. And I'm like, how you do that? Fly a plane, right? Well, he's safe in the plane. It's not the height he's afraid of, it's the fall. It's not a fear of heights to me. I have to acknowledge that.
Maybe
it's a fear of falling.
When
you walk across the bridge, as long as somebody tell you don't look down. The minute you look down, oh my God, I can fall, guys. You could fall, but you're not falling. It's different. So don't let the could stop you. Keep walking. Think of that box.
To cover for fear, like let's say back to the snake fear. When the best way to cure fear is tackle it. Like you have to tackle the fear of snakes. You have to even hold the snake, which I did.
Always said if you are afraid of frogs, the best way to get over them is to sit down in a room full of them. After 15 minutes, you'd realize it done you nothing. And you'd be like, oh, it's not going to be afraid of it. I was afraid of it. My mother was afraid of frogs. My mother was afraid of everything. So it pushed me not to be afraid of anything. And I'm glad it did.
But when I touch these things,
But let me say something. Vision. The highest vision you can have is 20/20. My doctor likes to make this joke that I have 20/21 or 21/21. Because I was reading the ID and I could read lines that nobody else could read. When you're driving like friends, they're like, hey, slow down, please. Please, slow down, please. And as they talk to you, you see him? I'm driving and I can see. I'm coming off that Spots Hill and I can see what's going on down in that bend. Far away, I can see it. It's weird, like
that might be why you like driving.
Yes, it is. I tell people like that because I see things before they happen and I make certain moves in the road before people can recognize that I'm wrong.
You're gonna make a good sniper, really.
I always wanted to, but I'll snipe it now. Because if I was to use a sniper, there's a lot of people going missing. Hey, this is wrong.
And then PTSD is down. Yeah, I think your mom.
She needs to come out.
You wanna cut this? This is a great one.
Sometimes it goes on.
Okay.